What's the D going on, Jerome's? It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Birds are chirping and stuff. And actually, I think that might be true because, for Minnesota winters, this was relatively mild. Now, I understand messing with karma, and I'm just asking to get schwacked with a late April blizzard or a couple weeks of sub-zero, but this winter was kind of nice. Anyways, something that was also kind of nice was the Purple People Eaters, one of the greatest defensive lines, if not the greatest defensive line in NFL history, was a major catalyst of why Bud Grant and the Vikings went to 4 Super Bowls. And Carl Eller, Minnesota Golden Gopher Hall of Famer. Jim freaking Marshall, the Iron Man himself, should be a Hall of Famer. Alan Page, the pride of Notre Dame, Supreme Court Justice in the great state of Minnesota. And Gary. Nah, I'm just kidding. Gary Larson getting after it as well. So that Vikings defensive line was great. It was legendary, and it's going to be part of a new documentary. Click. Purple People Eaters documentary in the works. It's from a production company called Winter State, something like that. But the four Norsemen of the apocalypse: Gary Larson, Alan Page, Jim Marshall, as well as Carl Eller, will be part of it. Now, this is an iconic photo. And also, it's a great painting. I really want a large print of this for above our bar area. But also, this is a field goal block, right? Which is ironic. And also, they're out of order. Doesn't matter. But no, it's just more ironic that the most iconic photo is about a special teams play when it's about the greatest defensive line ever. But I'm looking forward to this. I know that John Boyce did up a documentary a little bit back, but apparently, so NFL Films won't be involved in this. So, our archival footage, what's going to happen there, don't know. But either way, more Vikings content is very good. Like that, man. Something I also like is Kwesi adofo-mensah. Down in Mobile, Alec Lewis, the Athletic Go, Vikings GM Kwesi, was on the field this morning at the Senior Bowl, present for the Bo Nix and Michael Penix throwing sessions. Cornerback Quinion Mitchell and defensive lineman Marshawn Nealand also popped in that practice. So, Kwesi's like every other GM down in Mobile, scouting out talent, and Bo Nix, Michael Penix could be in the Vikings' plans. Maybe they maneuver in the first round. Who really knows? But with everything up in the air with Kirk, and this being one of the deeper quarterback classes in NFL history, Kwesi, they got to go get their guy. Whether it's trading up, whether it's sticking and picking, whether it's maneuvering, they got to get their guy who's going to be that dude going forward, man. Also a dude. So I understand finding the quarterback, but we need to get back to building in the trenches, and not just the defensive line from back in the day. We need offensive line as well. And yes, left to right, if you resign Reisner and run it back with the same old line as last year, Chris Cooper, mama, I can change him. But Darrisaw, when healthy, is elite. Dalton Reisner really found himself a spot taking over for Ezra Cleveland. And then Garrett Bradbury is on the second year of his 3-year extension. Ed Ingram really improved in year 2. Hopefully he can make a larger leap in year 3. And Brian O'Neill is still... Brian O'Neill kind of struggled at times last year. But he's still a upper tier right tackle. But Jackson, Powers, Johnson. That's right, Powerful Johnson. The center, what they asked from Oregon. And I love him. I want him. Like, we did have a video of him yesterday. Got a major, major crush on him. And I want to find a way where the Vikings get their quarterback of the future and they get their center. First you buy the house, then you buy the insurance. But, left tackle, the blind side is still important. But the modern NFL, I think defensive coordinators just realize that, hey, the quickest route to the quarterback is through the A-gaps. So that quick interior pressure is in vogue right now. And the Vikings with Bradbury, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. And now Bradbury has greatly improved, yes, but has he tapped out on his potential? Is he going to get any better? Is he going to be more than just a top 12-ish center in the league? And that's not good enough. Something that is good enough is Jaden freaking Daniels. So we did up a 7th-round Vikings mock draft out later today where the Vikings make a move for Daniels at 4. And I know there's a lot of concerns about his 1 year of production. I understand there's a lot of concerns about his style of play, especially where he's got to learn how to slide. Like he just throws his body around out there, and I mean, he did it in the big bad SEC too, which is kind of crazy. But questions about his frame, questions about durability, all valid. But kid just makes plays. And he's got a great arm. He throws with accuracy and anticipation. The running ability is obviously a major plus. And if the Vikings do this, like, Kevin O'Connell has to open up the playbook. Like, he has to cater his scheme to Jaden Daniels. Now, they didn't do that last year with Josh Dobbs. Now, yes, midseason, it's a completely different thing. And it's really hard to change course midstream. But if it's going to be Jaden Daniels, you got to be all in. You have to completely tear down the Kirk Cousins offense and build up a new one around Jaden Daniels, man. But I love him. I love him. I don't love Ben Johnson, but I do respect him because that Lions offense is pretty damn good. And Jared Goff is looking very comfortable. They frankly have the best offensive line in football. Laporte again going as a rookie. Amon-Ra just every single time it's 3rd and 14, Amon-Ra gets 15. Every single time it's 3rd and 28, Amon-Ra gets 29. Every time it's 3rd and 45, Amon-Ra gets 46. It's annoying, man. Josh Reynolds, what up? But also, I mean, the Lions offense is really good. And with Gibbs, I mean, Gibbs is not only good running the ball, it seems like every single swing pass or every single screen pass, they hit Gibbs when he's in full stride. Like, he doesn't have to slow down and catch the ball. So Goff and Johnson, Goff throws a great ball. Johnson designs a great play where all these swing passes where the running back is going 100 miles an hour. I feel like it's something Kevin O'Connell should steal because I feel like the Vikings if they counted this, I feel like the Vikings would set the record for screen passes that went for less than 2 yards or negative yardage. But either way, Ben Johnson, not taking the Commanders or Seahawks job. Now, it did seem like he was the favorite for both of them. And now there's backtracking all over the place where obviously Washington ownership or the executives are feeding Adam Schefter information where he's like, oh, teams were worried. He wasn't the shoe-in. Teams were worried about his price tag. It's so stupid. It's cover your ass season. But if Ben Johnson really just decided, I mean, he's only 37. He had coaching offers last year from Carolina. He decided to no. But, I mean, the iron only stays hot for so long. And the Commanders' job with the number 2 overall pick, all the cap space, new ownership, new GM, I mean, it's a pretty attractive opening. And Seattle is always consistently good. And Seahawks hired Mike Kafka now, reportedly. I mean, those are 2 good jobs. And teams that fire the head coaches are generally because they're bad teams. And I understand that Ben Johnson, he's waiting for the right time, or maybe he feels like he has unfinished business with Detroit, sure. But on one hand, football-wise, I don't get it. But then was reading some Lions blogs and stuff where Ben Johnson has got a family, kids in school, sort of understand it. And yeah, I mean the human side of it, as opposed to just pure professional ambition, fully get it and fully respect it, right? And it's a spot where, like, how old are his kids? Because I mean, if he just takes a head coaching job next year, that's sort of a moot point. But who knows? But either way, I feel like, I mean, Ben Johnson is seen as the wunderkind right now, but more and more tape is out there. I think defenses will counteract to him. How can he counteract the counteraction in the game of cat and mouse? Because remember, like, Byron Leftwich was seen as a high-level head coaching candidate a couple years ago, and now he's just ass. Thank you. So, again, Ben Johnson, I think he's a good coach. Respect what he did with the Lions offense, but, I mean, that window closes fast. Not just talk about the Lions, man. Speaking of closing fast, so Arthur Smith, former head coach of the Falcons, where, I mean, Arthur Smith did so little with so much with the Falcons, with Bijan, with Drake London, with Kyle Pitts. It was ridiculous, but he's back in the game as OC of the Steelers. Tom Pelissero, go. Steelers are expected to hire former Falcons coach Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator per sources. Smith had blah, 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 blah. Now, before he got the Falcons job, he was the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans, and he and Vrabel worked together well, and the offense, I mean, had Tannehill, but really it was prime Derrick Henry. Right now, how much credit should Arthur Smith get for prime Derrick Henry? I mean, probably not a lot. I mean, Derrick Henry probably would have looked good with any offensive coordinator, but respect where it's due there. But, I mean, the last couple of years with the Falcons, it was just bad, right? And with the Steelers, I don't believe in Kenny Pickett. I obviously don't believe in Mason Rudolph. Najee Harris is the second best running back on his team, and Jalen Warren is that dude. And receivers, I mean, you've seen like George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. Like, if they don't get the ball, they get very angry and very mopey, and like they do act up and act out. So I don't know what's going to happen. Well, first off, Freiermuth's not going to get the ball as tight end one, but I mean, it could work out, sure, but I feel like Tomlin is so bad at offensive coordinators. I don't get it. Like, outside of Bruce Arians, like, who's been a good offensive coordinator for Tomlin? Maybe that's his blind spot. I don't know, man. Speaking of blind spots, like, so who decided that the Chiefs are going to wear like 17 different patches? So, again, the AFL patch honoring Lamar Hunt, I get it. The football patch honoring the late great NKH, I get it, but I mean, at a certain point, there's too much flair. I mean, it becomes Office Space, man. But Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to be wearing red. Niners are going to be wearing their traditional road whites. It's going to be a rematch of their Super Bowl uniforms from a handful of years ago. But, I mean, the Super Bowl logo patch, you got the captain's patch, you got the nicotine patch. I don't know. It's too many. It's too many. It still looks good, though, man. So the NFL's caught some heat as of late. So the NFL Media Hotel is the Luxor, and the Luxor is dressed up as a Dorito right now for some reason. But also for some overflow, they're going to Excalibur. Arash Markazi put this out. Update: all media hotel rooms are sold out at the Luxor. The NFL has opened an additional block of media rooms at the Excalibur. Now, usually what happens is media row, radio row will be generally in the vicinity of the media hotel, so it's probably going to be at the Luxor. Now, if you don't know Vegas, the Luxor and the Excalibur, not tier one properties, right? They're a little bit older, a little bit more low rent, and it is what it is. But I mean, a lot of people are trashing like, oh, the NFL doesn't take care of the media. Exactly. I mean, why would they take up higher end rooms that can charge premium prices for all the jabronis and corporate people coming into town? First off, that's one thing. Second of all, I mean, it's all about location. So both the Excalibur and the Luxor are within walking distance of Allegiant Field. And that's, if you're a media person, that's going to be big, right? So after the game, before the game, you don't have to worry about getting an Uber or taking public transportation or really doing anything. Like, you can hoof it. You'll be good to go. And so media like complain about everything, but how would you remember the Twin Cities Super Bowl? So US Bank Stadium, obviously downtown Minneapolis, and most of the media hotels were in Bloomington. And if you're not familiar with geography, Bloomington, probably a good 15 minutes from downtown Minneapolis, more with traffic. But yeah, how would you like to do that? Where say you're sports media from like Florida or Texas or California. All of a sudden you're in Minneapolis and you have to figure out either a rental car or an Uber or public transportation in freezing weather. And you have to find a way to get 7.2 miles as the crow flies downtown from Bloomington and then back out to Bloomington. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, they will take a mild jaunty walk in February Las Vegas weather, which can be chilly, but it's actually kind of nice any day of the week. So that's what that is. But hey, it's not like they're gonna put up. It's not like they're gonna put up the media at the Fontainebleau or the Wynn or the Bellagio. Ain't gonna happen, man. Get the hell out of here. Speaking of get the hell out of here. So SGA is a star for OKC, but they're trying to make him into a superstar, and he gets all the superstar calls and also the superstar non-calls. So Wolves went down to OKC, beat the piss out of Thunder. Statement game, took back the 1 seed. It was great. But Anthony Edwards clearly got fouled on this posterized dunk by SGA. And, I mean, Alexander's not even the best player in his family. But Edwards had some choice words after the game, saying it's like, I don't know how we won, criticizing the refs, and also in a hot mic moment calling them cheating ass refs. And he was right. He was 100% right, but you knew that he was going to get fined, and he was. So this is great. This is from Shams. The NBA announced that Anthony Edwards has been fined $250K, $250,000 for the public criticism of league officials. And this is from the press release from NBA Communications. Timberwolves Anthony Edwards fired. Blah, 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 blah. The NBA is finding Timberwolves guard Anthony Edwards $250K for the public, but not wrong criticism of league officials. Now, the official NBA communications say that he's not wrong here, but also in the official report, the day after, which the NFL should have as well, they said that SGA did not foul Edwards on this, which is ridiculous. I don't know, man. But what's really frustrating is, yes, in the grand scheme of things, did this affect the outcome of the game on Monday? No, it didn't. But the Thunder and the Wolves are probably on a collision course and probably going to play each other in the Western Conference Finals. Now, if SGA continues to get the star treatment and Edwards and Cat continue to be hammered and not get superstar calls, which even though they should be getting them, I mean, that could affect the outcome of the series. So in a way, it's actually good that this is getting aired out now and this is getting put on full display now, because now the general public is going to be aware. It's like, oh, the Thunder get all the calls and the Wolves get garbage. And frankly, that's been what has been the last couple of years. I mean, Anthony Edwards, even young Jordan, if you breathed on him funny, it would be a foul. Anthony Edwards gets clubbed in the head with a 2x4 every single time he drives the lane, and just yeah. Same thing with Cat. It's ridiculous, man. But $250K, that's a lot. It's a lot, man. But anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings news dump on this wonderful Wednesday. Also some random stuff too. Why the hell not? Hey, maybe we'll have a rant on burgers tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.